Hi, my name is Susan Weimer, and I'm here on the Reverse Confetti and My Sweet Petunia blog hop and giveaway, which is a fun team collaboration between our two teams. I'm on the design team for My Sweet Petunia, which is thrilling because I can't stamp without my MISTI. I have a tremor, and using the MISTI makes stamping so much easier for me. Here's the card we're going to make. I needed another belated birthday card. Actually, I probably need about 10 of them. And I really like this set from Reverse Confetti because it lends itself to the seasons and to making just an everyday card. And the set is called Snow Awesome, and I believe it was released in December of 2017. So I have the set. I'm going to use the top, the cone, and the sentiment. I have a round number 2 and a round number 6 brush, and what I now know is 2 pieces of watercolor paper. At the time, I thought I had a sheet of cardstock out and my very dirty watercolor palette. Please excuse that. Please also excuse the tripod leg that's in the video. I just don't have time to reshoot this or remake the card. I have Memento Desert Sand ink. And I guess I sort of am doing some no-line coloring. But I wanted to make an all vanilla ice cream cone, snow cone, and I love vanilla ice cream and I wanted it to look vanilla. So I'm using a more brownish ink instead of a strictly black outline. And there's the cone. Got everything in place. Pick my stamps up. And I'm going to wipe a little bit of the ink away on the top of my ice cream a little bit, because ultimately I'm going to draw, I use that term loosely, a little bit of a drip, because any cone that I've always had has dripped, and I just don't think it's right when cones look perfect, because they should have drips. So I'm going to pull that out. And this is the great thing about the MISTI. I can just put it off to the side, and I know that my stamps are in there. They're not willy-nilly all over my desk. I used to lose stamps all the time before I started lose them, and well, you know what your desktop looks like. You really don't want to see what mine looks like outside of the boundaries of this blotter paper. So now I'm drawing in, using a mechanical pencil, the drip. So I keep bringing the stamp in here to make sure that I'm getting it to the right length. And I'm sure you can do a better job lining this up. And I think that's going to be pretty good. And I'm just going to erase this back a little bit and then go over the outline with my Memento Desert Sand marker. And I'm going to go over it twice so that the line thickness matches that of the stamped image. And there's my drip. Still don't know I'm using watercolor paper. Here's my palette. I've cleaned it up. The miracles of YouTube. And I'm just using it's allergy season still. A mister to reactivate the watercolors that I'm going to be using. And I could have used my Crayola paints. I actually have them, but these were easier to find, quite frankly. And I'm going to be pulling some Opera Rose, I think it's by Winsor & Newton, onto my palette. I have clear water off to the side. It's a 2-bucket system, so I can rinse off my dirty brush. And I'm just making a general maze of an outline, and I'm not putting water all over the place because initially I just want the pink to stay right where it is, where I'm making it go, where the water will take it, but I want that to be limited. And then I let that dry a little bit. Not sure why I think I know why I'm doing that. Ignore the white stuff. This is Roosevelt Marine. I believe it's by Daniel Smith. And I'm going to put this in here, and it goes on very lightly, even though it appears that I'm using a high concentration of the pigment. This is one that I think dries back a lot, and if I were really painting something, I think it would be one that I would use right from the tube. But it is such a beautiful color that I keep it in my palette. And then I'm going to heat dry it. If I was painting a floral or flowers, something like that, I usually let those dry on their own. And that allows the watercolor to travel with the water as it's drying, which I think just gives it a better look. But since this is a splat, just for some interest in the background, it doesn't matter. And here not sure why I thought this white was going to work. I wanted to put some white splats on top of this, and it's too light. It's not thick enough. I should have used some white gouache or thinned out gesso or a thinned out white acrylic paint. So now I'm going to use my little number 2 brush to add some smaller splats of the pink and then the purple to the image, just to kind of bring your eye around the main splat and to soften the edges. And I'm going to get my larger brush and come in and add some larger splats for more interest. And I'm going to make a big blob coming up. Yep, there it is. Always happens, no matter what. I've tried everything to make the perfect splatters. I see people in videos do it, and they just look so perfect. So I've decided to embrace my imperfection in the splatting area. Can you call it that? Splatting. Lydia will tell me if I got it wrong. So I'm just trying to figure out what markers I'm going to use. And I decide for my vanilla ice cream cone, I still don't know this is watercolor paper. I'm going to use E30, E31, I think, and E33. Now I figured out, oh no, this paper doesn't feel right. I do not have a blending cardstock. I'm using watercolor paper and on the rough side. But I'm so sorry. I just did not have time to redo this. So we're going to try and make it work. And I think ultimately, given what I do to it at the end, it does work. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow. So I'm trying to get some blending in there. I come back with my lighter marker. And I'm really frustrated at this point. I don't know why I didn't restamp it. Again, I think I was in a time crunch. This is the day when I was supposed to meet my husband for a baseball game and dinner. So I had to get this done. So I'm going to put some of the refill for the alcohol blender marker onto the rag, just like Kathy Rukosin taught us. She's such an amazing, talented woman, and I was hoping that this would work. And I think because the paper's so rough, it absorbed the blending solution rather than allowed it to make that stippled effect that you get so beautifully on blending cardstock. So I'm just going to give up and move on to the cone. And I've picked the E1 series. This is E13 because to me, sugar cones have a little bit of a reddish undertone, and I'm just trying to get that sugar cone look. And I know that I have to fix the blending. This is E19. And you'll see what I do to do that later. And then we're going to come in and I'm going to try to blend this out. And then we'll add the lightest color, which is E13 again. And then I'm going to cut these out. There may be a coordinating die set for this. If there is, I'll link it over on my blog. I bought these quite a while ago. Now I'm going to be silly and try to draw this line with the sepia Copic multiliner with my big magnetic steel ruler, which works fine, but when I go to flip it around, I realize I can't see, and I don't know where my clear ruler is. So here's where the MISTI comes in handy. I grab one of the corners, the angled corners from the Creative Corner set, and using the ruler grid markings along the side of the MISTI, I just slide it along to make the cross hatchings on my comb, to make it look a little bit more realistic and to hide the lack of a really good blend, basically. And now I'm going to bring over all in one fell swoop my sentiment, and I'm going to use VersaFine Onyx Black. It's a pad that I have had for years, and I think this is really the best black ink to use for stamping sentiments or anything that has a really fine line when you don't need to use Copics. Although I have heard that there's a new line of VersaFine inks. I have yet to try those. I did wipe that blob off my MISTI, not because I was worried about it transferring, but because I like to keep my MISTI clean. I've never had, maybe once in the 3 years that I've had this, I think, have I gotten a blob of ink transfer, and it was just because it was a massive blob. So I've die cut this with a stitched rectangles die from another company, and you're going to see me move the card pieces around 50 bazillion times. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the edges of the images themselves with the chisel and nib of my lightest marker. So this is the E30 marker. I could have used my Memento brush marker, but I didn't. Just trying to get that little piece there. There is a newer, Lydia has on her blog, she has a post where she used it. It's a Copic marker that has Copic solution in it, but it's more like a brush pen. So I've yet to try that, but it's black, so I didn't want to use that here. So I just go in with the darker one, and the chisel nib works quite fine. I know I'm not going to color these images again, so I don't have to worry about the Copic ink blending back into something else. And I'll put that there. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put it everywhere. And I think in retrospect, I should have left it there. That's kind of cute. But I don't know what I was thinking. I always second guess myself. I'm sure everyone does. I think looking at this in retrospect, I should have cut along the bracket lines of the sentiment. I think that would have looked a lot cuter than leaving it as a rectangle. And again, that could very well be in a coordinating die set if there is one. And I'm just going to pop this all up in some Scotch foam tape from the big roll, which, as I look at it right now, is getting rather low. It's going to have to get replaced very soon because I can't live without it. But I just didn't really want to cut some fun foam to the shapes that these were in. And also, quite frankly, I'm running out of fun foam. So I finally decided where to put the sentiment. Making decisions is difficult, especially during allergy season. I'm just going to put that right there. And then, I think it looks too plain, but I have a genius idea. Or I think it's a genius idea. So I've gone on a tour of my craft room. I didn't bring you because it's just horrifying. But I found this little packet of seed beads that's multicolored, and I have a little bead tray. And you can use this with glitter. I've had it for ages. Yeah, I think I've actually used it with embossing powder. I've put the coffee filter right in there. And I'm going to take some matte medium and a fine liner applicator. This is how I do it. I don't use a pre-purchased bottle of matte medium. I just do it this way. I've been doing it that way for years. And I'm pouring the beads into this little tray. I just love these little trays. They have made putting sequins and beads on things so much easier. And then I'm going to knock off the excess, add some more, and I keep adding more beads. The beads were super fine. We had to pack up a house that we lived in for 17 years to move here, and our children are grown. And as I was cleaning out their bedrooms, I found these beads in the girls' bedroom. I don't know which one it was, but I stole them from her. She probably doesn't know, not till she watches the video, that I took them, but I put them at my stash, and I got all different colors. It was so exciting. I don't have to go buy any beads. And these are just so cute. And I've added some more clusters of beads. And I'm going to put some foam tape on a side folding A2 card because the watercolor paper, even though I didn't use a lot of water, got pretty warped. I'm not sure why. So I'm just going to pull the pieces off. And I always leave a tab hanging on the ones on the edge. I learned that from watching Sherry Carroll. It allows you to have enough time, if you don't push down too much, to be able to reposition your card if you get it wrong the first time, which is going to happen. Yep, see that? Wrong place. I'm going to line it up with that edge. Excuse my hair. So I'm going to put it, once I get it in place, I can pull the tabs out. They pull out very, very easily. I've been doing this for years. And just going to give a little rub on the edges to the tape. I could have used fun foam, but like I said, I've run out, or I'm running out. So that's my card with its many, many sprinkles on it. Wouldn't you like an ice cream that looked like that? Oh, I needed to add one more little piece up there in the corner to keep it from popping back up. Excuse the things falling off my monitor. So there's the card. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you enjoy the blog hop with reverse confetti and my sweet petunia, the MISTI. Please leave comments as you go along the way. And we have some fun prizes for you. I'd really love it if you gave this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more videos with me. And there'll be a link to return you back to the top of the hop in the description block below. Thank you for being here today and have a wonderful day. And I hope it's not snowing too much in your area.